Good morning, good morning. Ain't it a great morning outside? Abram, I was running late this morning. I got caught stealing some flowers.
Yeah, you were moving when you came in.
I was. I mean, I was cutting it close anyway, but, you know, I always like to talk about stuff that's going on in my garden or the neighborhood or whatever. And I said, you know, there's one other thing that I really, really need. So I went out of my way to get it and got caught by every red light you could possibly get stealing flowers. So that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're coming down Lakeland, that's a risk that you take every morning.
That's all right. That's okay. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm glad I got to be on the show with you today. I think this is my first time being on the live stream, so I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked to be on the show because I've got a couple questions to ask you. So we can get into that whenever you're ready.
Okay, well, I'm pretty well ready to go. It's a call-in program, though, folks. It's live, so if you've got some things you want to talk about that's going on or not in your garden, here it is. Getting towards the end of November, we've had plenty of rain for a lot of folks. Nice, cool weather. Too cold for some folks. They've all been bringing their plants in, putting them on the porch, covering them up, all that kind of stuff. But we're going to have some warm days ahead. That's a nice part about autumn here in the deep south, especially the lower south. We have a little cold spell, then we have a nice long warm spell. So if you got your plants through this week, we're going to have a couple of nice good weeks. Got plenty of stuff to talk about. I brought a nice bouquet of unusual flowers and also a magnolia flower. Here it is, almost Thanksgiving, and magnolias are still blooming. What a great place to live and garden.
Magnolias might be one of my favorite trees that they are out there. They're so nice. I have a very fond memory, or many fond memories of climbing in a magnolia tree at my granddad's house.
They're good climbing trees. Now your grandmama probably didn't really like it.
Not one bit.
Because they drop leaves on the ground.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that is actually kind of normal out in the woods, just a native plant. Magnolia was here. We have fossil records. It was here with that. Whatever killed the dinosaurs couldn't kill magnolia trees. But the problem is not the magnolia, but people put them in a place where they don't understand what a beast it can be. You know, with the fallen leaves.
Oh, yeah, I gotcha, yeah.
But there is a variety. There's several dwarf varieties. No, not dwarf. They're compact. One's called Little Gem. And this is a little gem here. The leaves are only a few inches long. The flower will just about fit inside a salad plate. You know, they're real small. But it will bloom literally from late April until, well, Thanksgiving. And so that's kind of a nice coarse-textured plant, more of a really large shrub than a small tree. But anyway, people who don't like magnolias because they get big and drop the leaves, they just need to think about a little gem, tuck it over in the corner, put something under it to catch and hide the leaves, and everything's cool. But boy, oh boy, it really smells sweet in the studio because of that one flower.
I bet it does. I did not get a chance to come in there while you're setting up, but it looks so nice in front of you right there.
Well, if you come in here and it smells really sweet, it ain't me. Anyway, I've got a bunch of odds and ends to talk about, but it is a live program, and got some things I want to chat with you about. But let's start out by going on the Gulf Coast and see what Debbie's up to. Debbie, good morning. How are you?
It ain't me.
Debbie. Okay, she's listening to...
Debbie, I believe you've got your radio on. If you could please turn that down and listen through your phone, that would help out a good bit. So, Debbie, are you there with us?
I'm here.
Hi, yeah. Well, just talk on the phone, not on the radio. What's up?
I have a Mandevilla hybrid, peach sunrise, I think it is.
Yeah?
And it's flourishing right now. But is there a temperature when I need to put it like in the house or in a protected area?
Well, it's a good. Everybody wants to do this. You know, they want to bring in plants that bloom spring, summer, and fall. Mandevilla, I must suggest that it might be easier just to toss it and get you a new one next spring because it's a lot easier. But if you want to bring it in before we get us a frost, you know, maybe a month before we get a frost on the coast, you can bring it in, but you need to cut it back. And this sounds counterintuitive, but if you don't cut it back, it's going to drop all those leaves when you bring it indoors because of lower light, lower humidity, cooler temperatures. So if you just cut it back, it'll fit in better. You won't have to clean up all that mess, and it will quickly put out new growth. So if you want to cut it back, put it in a sunny, maybe a south-facing window or east or west window where it gets some light, it'll quickly put out some new growth and make it through the winter that way. But if you just bring it in without cutting it back, it's going to be a mess.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, Debbie, appreciate your call. Okay, so this is a lot of concern. People up in North Mississippi, they've had really, good frost now. A lot of people are bringing their hibiscus in and their Christmas cactus and all those kind of things. And in general, these plants will take down to 40, even the upper 30s with no problem temporarily. So unless it's going to frost, I really wouldn't do anything except maybe cluster plants up close to the house or the porch. Or if you want to cover them, that's fine, but be sure to uncover them during the daytime. Anyway, let's go to Jackson and talk with Mike. Mike, you got a concern in your yard, right?
Yeah, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I was wondering why all of a sudden there seems to be ant hills everywhere.
That's a good question. Here's the deal. Fire ants are they're like a blanket. They're all over everything, but the only time we notice them, unless they're between their fingers, is when they make their mounds. And when we have cool weather or when we have wet weather, they tend to make more mounds, partly for drainage. They don't like, to stay wet. So in rainy weather, they'll pop up mounds. But also when it gets cool, they put the mounds up to catch a little sun, to sort of like a heater. So anytime we have cool or wet weather, the ants are going to mound up real quick. They also multiply pretty much year-round, so they can start new mounds anytime. But typically in the spring or in the fall, when we have cool, wet weather, they'll make a whole bunch of mounds. Just get away from the water and to warm up a little bit.
Yeah, I just keep having to reapply killer to my yard, and I noticed on the Natural Trace, they're about every 30 yards there's an anthill.
Yeah, and not to get too philosophical here, but there's no way you're going to be able to control all of them by treating your yard over and over and over. They're just going to keep coming. It's like mosquitoes. You can spray, and you can go out and come back a little bit. They're all gone, but a day later they're going to be right back. So, what I would do would be to concentrate on the mounds that are directly affecting your health and happiness. Up on the tomato plant or in your potted plants, but just as far as in the yard, it's better just to go ahead and just ignore them unless they're directly bothering you. It's easiest and really environmentally better just to ignore them. But there's no way to treat your whole yard for ants over and over and over without also taking out the earthworms and all the other stuff. So I would just treat the mounds that are bothering you directly and treat them late in the day or at night. They and the mound will be gone by morning, and just don't worry about those out in the rest of the place.
Okay, well, if I treat the ones in my yard, maybe they'll just all go over to my neighbors.
No, they'll come to your yard from your neighbors.
Yeah.
I mean, fire ants and mosquitoes and people are part of the fabric of living in town. Anyway, again, those that are directly bothering you, I would treat those. Rest of them, just find something else to worry about because there ain't nothing we can do about it. I mean, I'm not a defeatist. I'm not giving up. But if you do want to treat the whole yard, instead of treating with some kind of granular or liquid poison, put a bait out there, one of the fire ant baits. The foraging workers will take it back to their mounds and take care of them that way. But if you got a big area, go with bait and understand they don't work quick like a regular poison will, but it's a whole lot easier on you and the environment.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Mike, appreciate it. Got a lot of ants out there right now. And also poison ivy. If you're out there cleaning up the yard, be sure to remember poison ivy drops a lot of its leaves. You don't know what's there. So
yeah, I'm having the same problem as Mike, and I live not far outside of Jackson.
Yeah,
but it's annoying, and that's one of the problems that I was gonna ask you about, and you kind of answered it all right there.
I've got a compost pile. Matter of fact, before we take these next calls, let me just mention that I've been making compost. I even brought a baggie of it in case you wonder what this little baggie is. It looks like I probably if I get pulled over, looking like I look with this long scraggly hair and a bag of this little fine texture stuff right here, I'll probably get arrested. But that's just compost. And all it is stuff that I made by piling other stuff up. I've got a leaf pile in my yard. Matter of fact, those of you on live stream, here's a picture of my compost bin. I don't have two side-by-side bins like a lot of people do. I just got a piece of roofing tin laid on the ground to keep roots out of it, another piece laid up against the fence so it doesn't rot the fence, and I just pile stuff up against it. I just pile it up. Leaves, kitchen scraps, weeds, flowers that I pulled, anything that'll decompose, eggshells. I even put a raccoon in it one time. People say don't put meat in a compost. I put a raccoon in mine. It worked. Anyway, I just pile stuff up, and sometimes I'll, shift it around. I'll fluff it up and all, like keep it moist and aerated. But within just a few weeks, it turns into this stuff that they sell at garden centers as compost. And I grew it myself by just piling stuff up. I have 2 piles. One is fresh. I just piled stuff up yesterday from raking leaves. And as it decomposes, I'm digging out of the other pile. When it's done, I'll start filling up on that side and start digging out of the other. So 2 piles, back and forth and back and forth. So a lot of people make composting something you need to know a whole bunch of stuff about. It's a leaf pile, folks. And
it looks like coffee grounds.
Yeah, it is. As a matter of fact, you can put coffee grounds in it.
Yeah.
And eggshells and Mardi Gras beads and little plastic army men, they don't decompose. But I have some in my pile so that they're like friends. As I'm sifting my compost, I sift it through a little half-inch hardware cloth to make it uniform. I find my Mardi Gras beads. But anyway, composting is not hard. It's a leaf pile. If you'll find a place to pile it up and just pile it up, it will work. And you'll have worms. Matter of fact, I think I've got a picture of some of the worms, on the live stream thing. I mean, just big, luscious. Ugh. Some people don't like worms. I love them.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's gross. That's not fun looking for me.
Well, if you're a mole, it'd look delicious. But anyway,
I'm not a mole.
Anyway, the bottom line,
I appreciate you saying that.
It's not hard to compost. It's just piling stuff up out of the way. I put something on the ground to keep tree roots out of it. And if you want to mess with it, stir it, aerate it, put cottonseed meal on, all that, you can do that, but you don't have to. Composting is there's 2 rules for composting. Stop throwing that stuff away, pile it up someplace. Nothing, I really shouldn't get irritated because it's not my business. But when my neighbors put bags and bags and bags of leaves on the curb to be hauled off, and I just pile mine up, come on, folks. Just find a place in the yard to put them. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go down to Mobile and see what Gabriel's up to. Good morning, Gabriel. Thanks for holding.
Hey, you bet. Good morning, Felder. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Sure. What's up?
I bought an old house on a small lot in Midtown Mobile about 15 years ago, and there's one corner of the yard that I haven't touched, and it has a small, lush, colorful bunch of 6 to 8 foot Nandina, and it just flourishing all on its own without any help from me.
Yeah.
But I intend to build a garage or a shed or a combination there over the winter, and I wanted to know if I could just simply dig that stuff up and relocate it somewhere else in the yard, and if I need to prune it back or consider other factors like light or soil.
Well, first of all, Nandina is one of the least likely to kill plant. It's almost impossible to kill a Nandina. They're really durable. I've moved them every month of the year. It's not that easy. But you can dig them up. You can move them where you want to. If you know where they're going to, go ahead and work on the hole first. Dig the hole first, because by the time you dig the Nandina, you're going to be whipped, and you're going to not feel like planting them. So dig the hole first. And then when you get ready to dig them, they don't have deep roots, but they're almost like woody. So here's a real tip. Get your flat-bladed file and sharpen your shovel. Make it like a knife. And if you have a sharp shovel, it slices right through those roots. Otherwise, you can hurt yourself. So if you got a sharp shovel and you can dig a circle around each clump, no bigger than maybe a bushel basket, because you're not going to be able to pick it up. So be reasonable about what you can pick up dirt-wise. If you want to, it's easier to cut the plants back. They'll put out all new growth in the spring, so you can cut them back with those stems at different heights. And in the spring, they'll branch out. Leave some unpruned, but wherever you make a cut, they'll branch out there. So sort of layer them. Cut the biggest stuff back. Dig up clumps you can physically move. And if you'll cut all the way around them and then cut up under them before you lift it out of the ground, then it'll come out nice little clean root ball. But you can do that pretty much any time.
Absolutely. Well, I'll get to work on it this weekend. I'm looking forward to it.
Go ahead and dig the hole first. I'm telling you, man. I've dug a lot of Nandinas, and if by the time you get through doing it, you're not gonna feel like anything else.
Absolutely. I appreciate the tip, Felder.
All righty. Good luck on it. I'm making a mess in here.
We'll have to clean up before the next show.
It's going to be a real mess. I might need to bring a trash can in here. But anyway, we need to take a break, or we take calls?
Let's go ahead and take a break. If Kathy and Ron could hold on, please, between the break, we will get to them as soon as we get back. And
I appreciate Abram Nanny, my awesome producer. Java's apparently not in today.
Java has not been feeling great lately.
Okay.
He is out today.
Well, good to see you, young man.
I appreciate being here.
And you got those fancy glasses on. There's something so you can read the computer better or something?
Yeah, blue light glasses. They help me out a lot.
I just thought you were being real cool. You know how you young people are. But anyway, I'm horticulturist Felder Rushing. This is the Gestalt Gardener on Mississippi Public Broadcasting. I'm making a little bouquet with different grass flowers from different ornamental grasses. And they're just amazing. A lot of people think, well, it's just pampas grass. No, pampas grass is just an old one. A lot of really, really cool grasses. And I'll talk about those when we come back after we take some calls. But if you want to give us a call, it's toll-free, 1-877-MPB-RING. If you're on live stream, you can see this bouquet of grasses and my compost and my magnolia flower and all that kind of stuff. We'll give information on how you can find it later on YouTube. Okie dokie, folks. Welcome back. Horticulturist Felder Rushing. Before we get these calls, let me mention this. A lot of people got Thanksgiving coming up, and it's kind of nice to put something on the table that you grew yourself. And a lot of people may not have tomatoes. Some people still have tomatoes out there, and peppers and things like that. A lot of people have got lettuce growing right now. Kale, which is a beautiful plant. It grows well in a pot. You can put some in a soup the other night. But other than the summer vegetables, if you've got some okra, even if you don't like to eat it, dried okra pods really look good in a vase as part of a dried arrangement. So you don't have to eat it. And then another thing, we have a lot of edible flowers. If you've got a salad or something, sprinkle some pansy or viola flowers or some rose petals. Wash them because they can have little bugs and stuff in them. But edible flowers scattered here and there, used as a garnish, parsley. You may have some herbs like rosemary, or oregano, or thyme. These not only are good for flavoring stuff, but it makes you feel a little smug because you did it yourself. And also, they all make good garnishes. So if nothing else, if you don't have anything to eat out of the garden, go out in the yard and get you a vase and put you a little spray of magnolia leaves, some nandina berries, some flowers. Make a flower bouquet from your garden. Celebrate the harvest from your garden. So I don't know, Abrams, that.
Yeah, that was the question from our social media crew. They were also wondering, what type of recipes would you recommend for this?
I don't do
You're
recipes.
Not a recipe person?
I don't do recipes. Every time I make dumplings from the box mix, I can't even think of the name of it. What's the box mix everybody uses for pancakes and stuff?
Oh,
everybody's
I'm lost. Kodiak or something like that?
No, but anyway, just one.
Anyways,
Bisquick.
Yes. Okay.
Every time I make dumplings or pancakes, I have to read the directions on the side. So
I do the same thing.
The main thing is a floral bouquet from the yard, including shrubbery and leaves and things like that, and any kind of herbs. And if you don't have these things for Thanksgiving, do it for next year. It's really, really easy to have a container with an oregano and a rosemary and some thyme and some kale, it's really easy to have a pretty bouquet of flowers and herbs on your patio that you can bring in and use. You don't have to use much to feel good about it, but share something from your yard. Anyway, I'm still working on this bouquet of flowers from grasses, which made me late today. But let's go up to Starkville and talk with Kathy. Kathy, how are you today?
Hello.
Howdy. Thanks for holding. What's up?
Yes, I know we're going to have a freeze tonight, and I've never left my amaryllis out over the winter. Is that something I have to bring in?
Amaryllis is usually hardy, in central and even north central Mississippi, even further north. If you've got it in a sunny flower bed, it dies down in the winter, but it comes back just fine in the spring. So if you got a place that's got daffodils and iris and stuff, you can stick it in with those. If you keep it in a pot, though, it's more sensitive to freeze. So I would bring it in just during the freeze and put it back out. As long as it's above, the upper 30s or 40s, it'll do fine. So just bring it in during the freeze if it's in a pot. Put it back out.
Okay, the amaryllis, you don't plant those deep. The part of the bulb is exposed.
Right.
So if I'm leaving it out, should I mulch that over?
Well, I mulch everything. I grow them in my garden, and I mulch everything. So I think it's good to have mulch for different reasons. But yeah, is this in a pot, or are you going to put it in the ground?
They're in big concrete planters. So
just cut them back, pile a bunch of mulch. If you're going to mulch, go with bark. Bark mulch insulates better than something like pine straw, which cold weather cuts right through that. But if you just go ahead and mulch it anyway. And this was a good weekend, even though it's going to get cold tonight. Plant just some pansies and stuff in with them, and just mulch that, and I think it'll be fine.
All right. Well, that's what I needed to know. Thank you very much.
Well, good luck on it. It's hunker down.
Yep. Bye-bye.
It's that time of year, Danny. That time of year.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried myself. I haven't cut my yard. I thought I was going to be fine to not have to cut it for the rest of the year, and then we had a couple rains, and it grew up about a foot tall. So
why do I always call you Danny?
I don't know. I thought you just said nanny, but I guess
no.
Yeah,
Abram Nanny.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Danny.
I'll respond to anything just about.
It's just this is a boomer thing.
Yeah, just as long as we keep it clean, I'll respond to it.
Hey, let's go to Canton. Ron, what you got going on? What's up with your Christmas cactus?
Yeah, I thought they were Christmas cactus, but they're in bloom already.
Yeah.
What'd I do wrong?
Nothing. Christmas cactus, Easter cactus, Thanksgiving cactus, those are names that English-speaking people who celebrate those holidays put on things that bloom in the spring and the fall. And they're, they don't go by holidays. Holidays, these have been around a lot longer than holidays. Here's the deal. And by the way, there's a way you can tell the difference by the leaf shape. And I can't remember off the top of my head, but one has got, the little leaflets, the little jointed things. Some are rounded, some are pointed. And one is the Easter cactus, one of the things. I just can't remember. But their flowers are stimulated by shorter days, cooler temperatures, and dry conditions. Usually, just leave it outside and forget about it. And there's going to be weeks sometimes between when they bloom. In England, they've been in bloom for quite some time. So it's just a matter of day length, temperatures, moisture, to what triggers their flowers. They just happen to be fall blooming in this part of the world.
Okay.
So you're not doing anything wrong.
I thought I'd messed up.
Has you got flowers?
Oh, yeah, they're big and pretty.
Well, how can you say you messed up?
Well, I was wanting them to bloom at Christmas.
Well, you're out of luck. Mother Nature says, nuh-uh. Anyway, no, you didn't mess up. You can trigger them. Florists can trigger them to bloom on time, even in the middle of the summer, by manipulating those environmental conditions. So it's just, it's just the luck of the draw. It's just like a lot of people have not had fall colors yet because of the weather. And some plants that normally have fall weather by now are just now starting to have it. So it's just luck of the draw.
That makes sense. I appreciate it.
Okay, good luck on it. We've seen a lot of people showing off on Mississippi Gardening Facebook. They're showing off their let's call them holiday cacti.
Yeah, that's a good encompass all term for it.
I'm working on this this bouquet. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, on the live stream thing. Can you see the live stream thing on your?
I should have pulled it up. I have
not.
No,
but you could if you wanted to.
Yes, yeah.
Either way, I'll talk about some of these grass that I put on there. But there's a pretty unusual, different kind of grasses right there. Let's go over to Meridian though and see what Becky's up to. Becky, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
So far, so good. Working on this little flower bouquet with nothing but grass flowers. What's up?
That sounds wonderful. We have a west-facing slope immediately down from our ground level porch. And it keeps sloping down towards a lake. And we don't want to we don't want to plant anything on the immediate adjacent to the porch part of the slope that's going to grow tall because we don't want to block our view of the lake.
Right.
So, and it's west facing. There's a lot of old, tall pines, so there's speckled sunlight,
Yes.
What can we put there that will be low maintenance, will spread, and look good, year round if that's possible?
So how tall do you want it to be, maximum?
Well, it could be, a foot tall or something. Like I know, monkey grass will grow tall and then bend over.
Yeah.
We could do monkey grass.
Oh,
or
so
maybe
you want
Jenny.
you want really low stuff. You're not looking at bushes.
Right, not bushes.
Okay, let me suggest this, and this is just from an old guy who's seen a lot of gardens, flower show gardens, and all like that. But shapes and textures are important, and if you'll do a little bed that's got a combination of maybe 3 or 4 different things, the striped monkey grass, you could plant if you work the dirt up, pull it out of the pot, and sort of put it where it's about 1/3 of the way out of the ground. It's one of the only plants you can plant almost on top of the ground and it'll grow, but that'll give it a few inches. But you could put, let's say, a group of striped monkey grass, maybe 3 or 4 plants, every now and then, a little bit out of the ground. They'll make a nice little thing. And then in between them, there's a real low-growing dwarf type of daylily. Called Stella de Oro. Stella's been around for a long time, only gets about that, and it'll bloom in the summertime. And then, there is a super dwarf Nandina. I don't know around Meridian. The garden centers may not carry it, but I know they do in Jackson. There's a type of dwarf Nandina that's called Flirt. Flirt it only gets about 8 or 9, 10 inches tall. It's really pretty. It turns bright red in the wintertime. It's durable. You never have to do anything to it. And it'll spread and make a ground cover. But Flirt is a really good little low-growing dwarf Nandina. But if you'll do those and then throw you some iris in there, put you some daffodils for wintertime. In other words, and find a group of plants that you like and repeat it. Have this little combination repeat it over and over, and it'll look really, really good. Get you a piece of driftwood and put out there, too. Give you something to sort of accent it with.
Okay, and Nandina, is that a perennial?
Oh, it's an all-round shrub. Once you see Nandina, you say, I don't want that stuff because it's a big old shrub with red berries. But the dwarf kinds there's one that only gets a couple of feet tall called Harbor Dwarf, but the flower it's all year long. And it and the monkey grass together make each other look better. And then put some of that old-fashioned. You've seen that white iris they used to see around cemeteries?
Mm-hmm.
It's a stubby foliage. Even if it doesn't bloom, the leaves look good. So mix a little monkey grass, a little Flirt Nandina, a little the white iris, and you'll have something that looks really good all year. And throw you some daffodils in and make a little bouquet out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely would do that.
All of those will grow in a cemetery, by the way. Dead people can grow these things. Sun or shade. Sun or shade.
And what about, we've got some creeping Jenny already. Is that a...
Yeah, but it's going to have to be water. It's you have to water it. It's not low maintenance. I love the plant, but if it's not in a place that stays moist, you're going to have to water it from time to time. Put some in there after you get these other things. If it makes it, it'll look great. If it doesn't make it, you still got something to look at.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's just some suggestions.
Yeah, that's all I need.
All righty. You bet. Now, Abram. Abram Nanny.
Yes, sir. You got it this time.
You want to take this call to do the cheesy tune, or do the cheesy tune and take the call?
We've just got Rebecca holding on, so let's go ahead and take her.
Okay,
then.
Rebecca calling from up north in Fulton. Good morning, Rebecca. How are you?
Good morning.
Howdy.
I'm doing great.
Good. What's up?
No, I was just I went on the rounds looking at nurseries, and I couldn't take a kid because the kids are in Florida.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you mean they couldn't keep you? You mean your kids couldn't keep you from buying stuff?
Exactly.
What's up?
No, I was just going to comment that I'm glad that I put my plants in October, and that it was. I mean, just going from all those nurseries and everything, I'm just looking, and I'm so glad. You know, it's so nice to see all the different stuff. The poinsettias, the poinsettias are supposed to be coming in soon, but the Christmas cacti and all that stuff. I mean, it's, you know, different nurseries have different things.
Yeah.
But it was so nice to see the amaryllis and all these different things that you're talking about.
They're getting festive. They are the garden centers are definitely getting festive.
Definitely. Anyway, I just wanted to wish you a happy Thanksgiving, and y'all have a good everybody.
I appreciate it. Well, I got to ask you, what did you get?
Oh gosh, well, I got I got a piece of pottery and at one place, and I got some of those little plastic things to put underneath my plants because I don't have, to keep water from going all over the living room.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Hey, I'll give you another tip on that, and a lot of people could use this tip. When you water twice. Water just a little bit right at first, and what will happen is that'll set the potting soil up. It's not enough to really water the plants, but the potting soil will swell up. Come back a little while later and put a little extra water on there, and what that does is the second one really soaks in without running out the bottom. If you put a bunch at once, it just runs around the edge of the pot and through the dry soil, but the first one sort of makes it swell up, and then the second one really soaks in with less runoff.
Thank you. You told me that before, but I forgot.
Well, okay. Well, anyway, I appreciate it. Thanks for the cheer.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks. I'm making a real mess in here.
You know, we're going to have to take some time between shows and make sure Jermaine's not allergic to any of that stuff right there, and
Yeah.
we'll clean it up real good.
Well, I've got a tune, and folks who are listening on live stream or on the rebroadcast, we can't play the tunes again because of copyright stuff. But this is the theme song written back in the 1920s, and it's called Puffin Willie. Willie Puffin. But you're way too young to remember this.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
You know, you're too young to even remember Pee Wee Herman.
I never watched Pee Wee Herman.
Okay,
never did.
Well, even before this tune, which is the theme song of my youth, before that was I can't remember the name. Anyway, children's Saturday morning shows or weekly shows. I just draw a total blank on the guy that I was first raised with.
You said Howdy Doody?
Howdy
Is
Doody.
that what it was?
Howdy Doody. You know, I could do that, but instead, this came after Howdy Doody and before whatever you listened to. We're going to come right back, and I'll explain what it is when we come back. But I'm horticulturist Felder Rushing, MPB. We'll be right back. Song to Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah, that's too good, Felder. That singing was too good, and we're gonna have to cut it all out for it.
Oh no!
I'm kidding.
Yep.
Anyway, I've never seen a single.
There was Howdy Doody, and then there was Captain Kangaroo. I don't know what was after that, but Fraggle Rock was in there somewhere.
Okay.
Pee Wee Herman, and who knows what kids, I guess it's, Barney.
Yeah. We loved Barney growing up. We loved Blue's Clues and all that type of stuff. But
yeah.
That I never seen a single episode of Captain Kangaroo. I couldn't tell you anything about it.
Well, it was cheesy. It was
cheesy. I'm sure it was very whimsical theme music for sure.
Oh yeah, and he would have ping pong balls would drop out of the ceiling. Had a guy named Mr. Green Jeans who would come on and talk about gardening type of stuff.
That sounds like you.
Yep, that's right, Mr. Green Jeans. Anyway, we've got some time if you want to give us a call. We got the lines open. The name number toll free 1-877 MPB ring. Abram, I'm just a mess this morning because I got thrown off stealing some of these flowers. And if you're on live stream, you can see these. Otherwise, I'm going to just describe them just very briefly and mention that I'm going to post a picture on Mississippi Gardening Facebook. If you're not on Mississippi Gardening Facebook, we got about 55,000 members. It's clean. We don't let anybody kick off about anything. It's just people showing off stuff in their flower. They got questions and folks chime in. And there's several horticulturists on there besides me. Anyway, what I've got is a pampas grass. Everybody knows big old pampas grass, tall plumes of white flowers right now. There's a smaller one that's called maiden grass, miscanthus, maiden grass. They're feathery looking. And we've got foxtail looking things. This is a purple fountain grass. And then I've got a native plant that's called river oats. This is one that hang down. They looks like a curved fishing pole, little small minnows hanging off of it. This is the native grass that grows along the river. Then walking around the neighborhood, found a millet plant, which we normally think of as an agriculture thing, but it's a terrific ornamental plant. Anyway, I also have the pink muley grass. A lot of people are planting it everywhere. Just a haze of pink flowers right now. Well, these are all ornamental grasses. They don't look, they just look like grasses. Matter of fact, I've got a picture of a collection of grasses that I saw in a botanic garden in England. They're really interesting plants. They're not exactly shrubs, they're not exactly flowers, but you put these together, and this is a heck of a bouquet of textures and hues and browns and greens and burgundies and oranges. It's just a terrific landscape plant, and they need no care. Word to the wise, though, if you put one in your yard, if you're not careful about it, wasps sometimes build nests in them, as I found out.
I'm sure you didn't find out in a fun manner.
No, it wasn't. And I was wearing shorts. So anyway, ornamental grasses, terrific addition to the landscape. They go way beyond pampas grass. They're more tidy, and there's variegated, lots of different kind of grasses. Just want to throw that out to people looking for something a little bit interesting, but are tired of or scared of the sawgrass we call purple fountain grass.
And I got to say, normally when you think of bouquets or grass, you think greens and reds and purples. That's all brown and tan, and it's beautiful. I got to say, it's not bad.
Oh, and it's
real nice.
It's taupe. It's raw umber.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of, brown is not in the rainbow.
Yeah, I don't know colors very well.
Well, it ain't in the rainbow. But I will say this. It is a melange of shades and hues.
Of course, that's what I would have said as well.
Textures and shape, and they blow in the wind, and when you get in the wintertime, you can spray paint them.
I bet that's nice.
I'm just saying. Okay, now something happened on my screen in here. It's got all sorts of other stuff besides what I want.
I believe they are setting up some other stuff for the next show. So we have Sandra in Waynesboro.
Good morning, Sandra. How are you doing today?
I am blessed today. How about yourself?
So far, so good. I gave a talk at the library there in Waynesboro. Nice library.
Yes, and I gave you a big hug.
Well, thank you.
I was there. Yes.
Well,
okay. I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
My husband and I planted some grapevines back in about April.
Yeah.
Now these are not muscadines.
Okay.
These are catawba or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, do I need to mulch them? Do I cut them back? The runners are about 5 feet long.
Okay.
We have them on an arbor.
Okay, you planted them just this year, right?
Yes.
Okay, what you're going to want to do, you want it to reach within a year or two what they're going to look like forever. You want to get the main trunk and some main arms growing each direction, and then from then on, you leave those permanent, and every year you cut whatever grows off those back to little stubs. See, so this first year or two, what you're trying to do is come up with a main trunk and some long arms going up and down your arbor. So what you could do this wintertime is leave those, snip off anything that's not what you want to be a permanent part of the plant from then on. Next year, what grows off of those will have grapes. But the first year, train it. If you got a whole bunch of stems and twigs and stuff, thin some of those out. And the energy that would have gone to what you cut off will go to what's left next year. So this first year or so, train it to be the permanent framework that you'll have. And
right. Do I need to mulch around the bottom? Do I need to wrap?
You don't have to. You know, these things are perfectly cold hardy. You know, you mulch to keep the ground cool and moist in the summertime, and also to keep whoever has the mower or the string trimmer from hitting the trunks of it. So if you'll just pull the grass back and mulch around them, and not in a volcano, don't pile it up on the stump, but just sort of cover the ground with a little bit of mulch. You don't have to worry about protecting these from the cold at all. They're perfectly hardy.
Winter. What about watering during the winter? If
we go a month without rain, you know, that's the last thing you'll be thinking about, but you need to water them then. But no, these plants, you know, if they've been out there all year, they're pretty well established, got nice leaves on them. I wouldn't worry about watering them. A good deep soaking every 3 or 4 weeks is always a good idea, but we're going to get that over the wintertime.
Sure. Okay. Well, thank you so very much.
All right.
That relieves my...
Now, if you have some more detailed questions, want to send me some pictures of it, sit at garden@mpbonline.org. Send me some pictures, some good clear pictures of it, and maybe I can offer a few more suggestions. But our email here is garden@mpbonline.org.
Okay, is it normal for them to get like little brown spots this time of year?
Yep.
Okay. I thought so. I wasn't sure. I've been very careful to look out for bugs. Have
you got a cat or a dog or anything like that?
No.
Well, get you a dog and take it for a walk. You're looking at your plants too close.
Okay.
Thanks for the hug.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, let's go now to Madison. Jim, what you got going on? You got Spanish moss. You got a question about it?
Yeah, Felder. Can you hear me?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I live in Madison in an area that has no Spanish moss, and and it's very sketchy all over Madison County. You have areas where it's intense.
Right.
And my son lives in one of those areas, and I've got 4 oak trees in the front of my house, and I'd love to see the Spanish moss. Is there any way to encourage it other than just taking it and throwing a bunch of it up in there for the birds to use to make nests?
That's pretty much it. Believe it or not, Spanish moss comes from seed. Tiny little. The flowers don't look like much at all. They're not showy flowers. They're a type of bromeliad and little seeds. But if you could get some good bunches of Spanish moss and put it high up in the tree. It doesn't go up. It comes down. So if you put it low, it's going to stay low. If you can put some up really, really high, enough for the birds to take for their nest, which, by the way, is one way it spreads. Also, squirrels can sometimes use it in their nest. But if you put enough of it up there, it will grow pretty rapidly, and it comes down, and it'll start setting seed and spreading that way. But the only way to get established is put it up high as you can. And you notice if you're right around like Lake Lorman and places like that with a lot of Spanish moss, you don't see it in every kind of tree, and you don't see it in real dense trees. Unless it's down lower, it gets some reflected light. So anyway, put some just here and there. But think about this. I have an arbor in my backyard. I've got a stumpery. A stumpery is like a collection of stumps. Some people have rock gardens. I got a stump garden with ferns and stuff like that around. But I made a little framework with some rebar and just leaned some limbs and stuff, put limbs on top of it, and I have a little Spanish moss forest. You can make you a frame like an arbor and hang it off of that up a little bit closer to the house.
That sounds like a good idea. Is because of the seeding, is it better to do it at a certain time of the year to put it up in your tree?
It doesn't grow over the winter time, so it's not going to do much over the winter. So if you can collect some over the winter, and next spring when it starts growing, it grows really pretty quickly. I have it coming up as little plants just here and there all over my garden from my little stumpery area. And by the way, here's another trick, and nobody wants me to say this, so this is between you and me, okay? Hobby Lobby has got some of the coolest, most realistic Spanish moss you will ever find anywhere. But you gotta hang it out there, hit it, stand away about 3 feet away, and mist it lightly with a little gray paint, because the Hobby Lobby Spanish moss is a little bit too green. But if you just mist it with a little bit of gray, nobody but you and me will know. And by the way, I have some in my yard just to keep the Spanish moss shamed into growing. I'm not making it up. Good luck on it, man.
Oh, I have an unrelated question if you have time.
Sure.
So I heard you talking a minute ago. I didn't get all of it about your outside plants, and I have the same thing. I have some plants that I've loved for years, and they're tropical and semi-tropical, and I keep them out around a pool, a patio area, and so I always brought them in, and now I've gotten old, and the plants have gotten big and heavy. So last year I tried to leave them outside. I have a plumeria, frangipani, and it just dies back to sticks, but somehow comes out every year. But I lost a lime tree last year when it froze, and I lost my beloved night blooming cereus.
Yep.
Just totally froze last year, trying to keep it. I had blankets on it and a heat lamp under it and all of that, and it died.
Yep.
But so I decided I have to move them inside. So a friend of mine is building me some rollers because in Mississippi the winters are so mild. I mean, we get sun and 70 degrees in January.
I spent my youth dragging my mother's bird of paradise in and out every time it got cold. Out, in, out. I mean, but she had rollers.
Yeah. My question specifically is this: I've read somewhere that you should let a plant go dormant outside naturally before you move it inside.
There's
Maybe
nothing.
They're talking about up north. And then I wondered about if you did let it go dormant, is it good to roll it back in sunshine?
Well, okay. First of all, these plants don't go dormant. They're tropical. They want to grow year round, so they only go dormant because of bad weather or bad gardening. So no, there's nothing to that. You want them to, you want to protect them from freezing, but tropical plants don't go dormant. So that's just one of those. Somebody making something up.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. I guess I'll roll them around.
Yeah, and do some judicious pruning. Every now and then cut them back, bring them in. So anyway, we got a scoop, man. Good luck on it, and good luck on the Spanish moss.
Appreciate it.
All righty. Didn't get around to talking about the bulbs yet today, but I think we got time to talk to Arkville Annie Starkville. Arkville Annie, we got just a couple of minutes. What you got?
I believe it's Ann in Starkville.
Oh, Ann in Starkville. Ann, what's up? We're almost.
Hey, Felder?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can. We're almost out of time, though. What can I help you with?
Okay. Is it too late to plant blueberry bushes?
You can plant a container-grown plant any day of the year if you can dig a good hole. But that blueberries only grow as well as the hole you dig. So dig the hole nice and wide. Add some real peat moss to your native dirt. Not compost, real peat moss to your native dirt. And when you pull the plants out, loosen up their roots, plant them, mulch them, and you can do that anytime you can dig a good hole.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, Arkville. See you later. Arkville Annie. That's the problem. I used to have bifocals. Got my eyes fixed.
Well, I think it was just a little glitch in the phone system. I don't think that was your fault on that one.
Well, Arkville Annie, I like that. Anyway, next week, we here for Thanksgiving, or are we off? What?
You'll have to talk to Job about that. I think he's going to give you the day off.
Okay, well, one way or the other, we got plenty of stuff to talk about. And folks, if you want to send me an email, it's garden@mpbonline.org. Go to the podcast. I don't even know how to find the podcast, the live stream thing. It's on YouTube.
The live stream is on YouTube. Normally, I believe it takes 24 hours after the live stream is cut.
But you go to YouTube and then type in what?
It is MPB, Mississippi Public Broadcasting, and then you click the channel, or you could go, it should be suggested. If you click the channel, you'll go to live, and then it'll have all of the previous live streams that we've done.
Okay. Well, I got plenty of stuff to talk about if we're here next week. Otherwise, I'll just talk to myself next week, and we'll see.
Sounds good.
But it's time to plant bulbs. I got bulbs out there. They got new roots coming. They got shoots. I should have put these in the ground a month ago. But I'm a planter. I promise you, little bulbs, I promise you, I will plant you when we get home. And I've got this wonderful bouquet of ornamental grass flowers. It looks like it's a dried bouquet. This will look like this forever, although I'm going to have to clean up. Jermaine's out there. I'm going to have to clean up this desk because she's coming on next. Talking about what's going on around the state. Horticulturist, Felder Rushing. Abram.
You got it.
And we'll... Abram
Nanny.
I want to say Danny so much.
I'll answer to it. I said.
Well, I've only known you 4 or 5 years now.
It's only been a year and a half.
Well, anyway, y'all have a good, safe Thanksgiving. Make a bouquet for the flower. If you're not growing stuff you can eat, make a bouquet for the yard and put it out there. Even some leaves and sticks and stuff like that. Bring something outdoors, indoors. That's what we do. If you get a chance, go to a farmer's market. Show a kid how to do what we do best, and that's get dirty. Happy.
See y'all next week or
I
whatever.
promise I'm not on drugs or anything. So y'all go out and get dirty.
This forecast is underwritten by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi.